Hey, what's up everyone? It's your girl Brainy Shanae, and today I'll be sharing with you the best books I've read in 2021 by Black authors. So if you want to know all the books that I have selected as the best ones I've read, please stay tuned. And I am back, and also if you're new to my channel, welcome. If not, welcome back. So like I said before, I'll be sharing with you the best books that I have read in 2021 by Black authors. So the first book that I definitely loved and I cannot wait to finish reading the series and what happens next is This Poison Heart by Kailyn Barron. She had also written Cinderella is Dead last year, which I love so much, and I was looking forward to her next one, which was even better. This was regarding the main character named Briseis, and as we all know, or you may not know, Briseis is from like Greek mythology, so from Achilles and the so the Iliad, all that. So we're following Briseis, and she lives with her, she was pretty much living with her two moms. Her real mother gave her up for adoption, and so she has two mothers, which I really love. One she calls Mom, the other one she calls Mo. It was just short for Mom. That's the difference between the two of them, so she calls one Mom and one Mo. And she is pretty much visited by this woman who says that her aunt had left her a house, which is somewhere upstate in a countryside in New York. So that's where they head, and she tries to learn more information about her mom and her family, and that they once have apothecary. They once managed an apothecary where they would provide different things, ointments and stuff for people in the neighborhood and in their community. So, of course, as we know, Briseis also has magic powers, which he's able to grow and handle plants, beautiful plants, like a botanist. And she starts to realize certain things about the house and her family, and then some things start to make sense. And then next thing you know, she sees her aunt for the very first time, and it's the first someone in her family that she hasn't met before. So I think this is just an amazing book. Of course, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love the pacing. I love Briseis, and of course, I love this cover, Black Girl Magic all the way. Like, I love this. If you haven't read this, I suggest you do so. I know Kailyn Barron has shared with us the second book, the cover, and I really don't remember the name of it, but I'll leave it up here so you can see that cover. But yes, I am so excited to finish or go along with this series. I think there's going to be another one more book after the second book. So yeah, I definitely look forward to seeing more what's going to happen with Briseis and her family and her aunt that she has met for the very first time. So we have this book right here, which I love so much. Next one. Ugh. All these books, let me just tell you, were my highly anticipated. I will let y'all know right now. And I do not regret reading these books because they were fire. I love them so much. So this next book is Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray. Love this so much. I'm not even going to do a whole review about it because I did one single review about this book already. So I'll leave that up in the card so you can check that out. This book is amazing. I cannot wait to see what happens next. Ayana has graced us with sharing with us the title for the next book, which I'll leave up here, and I am looking forward to the second book so much. I want to know more about what happens to Kofi and what happens to Ekon, like, and their relationship. I really want to know what happens. I mean, at the end, it was just a cliffhanger. It ended in a cliffhanger, and it was also very sad. So I definitely look forward to reading the second book for this. Like, and if you haven't picked this book up, definitely do so. And also, you can definitely pick it up today because Barnes & Noble is having a book sale for 50% off hardcover copies. So you definitely could get this for half off, so gotta get it. But yeah, I definitely look forward to the second book. And if you haven't read this, you need to read it because it's really fantastic. I love it so much. But here's the second book. Next book I recently had read, and I'm thinking about sharing or having my husband, we do a discussion about this book. So pretty much we're going to be talking amongst each other, and I'll be sharing with you that on my channel. So he's been popping up in and out of my videos before, but he's never really shown his face like for a long period of time. But yeah, we're having a discussion about this book, Will. This is his memoir. It was very good. I tabbed it up, as you can see. There's a lot of things that I did not know about Will. and him about being like him having fear and doesn't want to be, he considers himself a coward. You get to know more information about Will and his relationship along with Jada and his children. And I will say he didn't really get into a lot of detail when it comes to Jada and him as far as their marriage, but he pretty much leaves it clear on where they stand. But I really did enjoy this. If you got this book, I definitely should also get the audiobook as well, because the audiobook gives it a little bit of extra, because it has sound effects in the background of him rapping and everything like that. So I definitely recommend the audiobook for this one as well, because it's definitely has a lot more material within the audiobook than it does the physical copy. But I really enjoyed this book, and I cannot wait to share with you the discussions that me and my husband will be discussing on my channel, which will probably be next month, so definitely stick around for that. But I definitely love this. Will did a fantastic job, and his writing is pretty good. Like, I loved it. So of course 5 of 5 stars for Will. So here's the next book. I had read this for the Black Weenathon of 2021, which is created by Bree from the Lockbooktician. And so this is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I love this book so much. We get to experience two fathers are looking for the killers of their two sons. And this has queer rep in it, which I do love that aspect as well. And this was just a very fast-paced book. It was funny. I loved it that it was so thrilling, which of course this is a thriller. And I love the relationship between Ike and also between Buddy Lee. I feel like their dynamic was really funny, and how he would talk. I will say I did also listen to this on audiobook, as pretty much I hybrid read this book, and I will say I recommend the audiobook as well, because it's definitely it adds a little extra to your reading. But yeah, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. This was also on the Goodreads Choice Awards. It was one of your options. I did choose for this book, but it did not win, unfortunately. But I definitely want to give this book all the credit it deserves, because it is that amazing. But yes, Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Loved it so much. And this was my first book that I read by him, so I cannot wait to read more by this author. So there you have that. Next book, I did a whole review about this, so I will leave I'll leave the link up above so you can check it out. And that is Skin of the Sea by Natasha Bowen. I love this book so much. I love about the ocean and Semi, and how she was, pretty much like a mermaid, and she was helping the souls of the people that were kicked off the ships that were trying to pretty much were thrown off. And this was during the time of the slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade. And so she was in charge of help the souls come at peace, and help them go to their to their creator. And that was her job. But certain things did not add up, and certain things happened where she was discovered. She showed herself. And, we have the Mami Wata, who is one of the goddesses that we pretty much are introduced to in this book. And then also we have Semi, and then we also have, I'm trying to remember his name right now because it's the top of my head and I can't think of on it right at the moment, but Kola, there we go, Kola. So we have Simi and Kola, and they start having like a certain relationship, a love interest, what have you. And so they're on this journey to find a certain artifact. I don't want to spoil it for you. And I just found it so fascinating. And the end of this book was a cliffhanger because she really wanted to stay with Kola, but due to obligations that she had made a promise to someone, she had to leave Kola for good. But who knows? The second book, I cannot wait for the second book. I don't know when the second book is coming out. I don't know if it'll be next year or in 2023, but I look forward to reading more by Natasha Bowen. Her writing is stunning, and also the cover is beautiful. Like I said, Black Girl Magic all the way. I'm definitely going to support. Definitely read this book if you haven't. I definitely loved it, and I cannot wait to read more of Simi and Kola. So here's another book that was the best book that I have read in 2021. And of course, which this book I believe had won on Goodreads for the Goodreads Choice Awards, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Austin. Y'all know, I'm sure everybody on BookTube has read this, and I loved it. It's like a world similar to Harry Potter, but I feel like it's even better. And I just loved Amari and her learning that she has magic in her family and learning more about her brother and her brother's partner and stuff like that. I really, really enjoyed this book to the T. Like, and of course the cover is gorgeous. But 5 out of 5 stars for Amari and the Knight Brothers. BB Alston did his thing, and I look forward to reading more about Amari, what happens next on her journey as far as her brother and her brother's partner, everything like that. I definitely look forward to stepping back into this world, and I just cannot wait to know more and what happens next. So we have Amari and the Knight Brother next book, which the second book will be coming out in January. So if y'all don't know, now you know. You need to go ahead and get pre-order Ashes of Gold by JL. And of course, I'm going to say Wings of Ebony is one of my top books, or one of the best books I have read in 2021. I love this book so much. I love Rue, and I just loved everything about the world as well. It was well written. JL has done her thing. And then also, of course, I am Team Julius. Day one, you know, there's Team Jamal, but I'm just going to let y'all know right now. Whoever she ends up with, I'm okay with, but I just am going to stay loyal to the day ones. You know what I'm saying? You know, Julius knows her best. She only met Jamal like a couple of seconds in this book. So who knows what's going to happen in the second book, but I really enjoyed this book. If you haven't gotten a copy of this book, I suggest you do so and take advantage of the Barnes & Noble's book sale. I'm going to keep on saying it. But yes, this book is following Rue, who ends up knows that she has powers, and she ends up meeting her dad for the very first time after all these years. And, you know, but this is located in Texas, and then it goes into a different world entirely. And I love this book. If you haven't read it, like I said, pick it up. I definitely look forward to reading the second book, which is Ashes of Gold. And I have already pre-ordered it. So if you haven't pre-ordered it, I suggest you do so, because you also will get some goodies as well. But if you follow me on IG, you will see all the information in my stories, where if you pre-order it, you get a little something, something. Also, if you follow JL, she'll give you even more of detail of what you'll get if you pre-order Ashes of Gold. So, Wings of Ebony, you guys. Loved it so much. Cannot wait for the second book, which is right here. And the cover is stunning. And of course, this cover is stunning as well. So, you know the second book is stunning as well. But there you have it. This is another book that was one of the books that are the best books that I have read in 2021. Next book, which a lot of people did not love. I liked it due to this aspect of, you know, at the very end of the book, they wanted to make a difference. They did not want this to happen to somebody else when it happened to them. So they started an organization to prevent this from happening ever again. And that is Ace of Spades. And this is by Farida Abike Ayumide. This was so good. I did my own review about it. Yes, I did. And so if you want to know the gist of this book, if you want to know my thoughts about this book, even though I'm going to give you my thoughts now, but I'll leave a link up above so you can check this one out. It was so good. I love Chimaka. I love Devin. Like, I love the characters. I know, and they're in a private school. They're pretty much only Black kids in their school. And then, of course, they start getting blackmailed, and then come to find out, pretty much the whole student body is racist, and they're they try to bring them down to make all this other stuff, expose them, because they're Black, obviously. But I'm not going to get into too much detail of it, because like I said, the link is above if you want to check out my review about it. But I love this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Now, a lot of people did not love this, and I completely understand, and I'm not mad at you. I just loved it because, this is something that's true, that has happened, and probably is still happening in schools, or in private schools, or predominantly white schools, that you only have a sprinkle of black students. And it does happen. There are also schools in general who pick like a handful of Black kids for sports, like basketball or football, just to help their sports program. So you do have that. So I loved how it mentioned stuff like that in schools, and how black kids are picked to even be part of the or in their school altogether, pretty much through scholarships, mostly through sports, and sometimes through education, or through music based. So I do appreciate the story and what it means, what's behind the scenes, but what's between the lines, pretty much. But yes, I love this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and it was definitely one of the best books that I've read in 2021 by a Black author. Next book, I cannot believe this world has ended, but I'm looking forward to what Jordan has in store for us, and that is Redemptor by Jordan Fueko. I love this book. I love the first book, Raybearer, and I'm so sad because we will no longer see Terasai and Dial. Dale, I'm just like, I'm sad that it's over. I'm so sad, and I wish that, you know, like this book was even in the Goodreads Choice Awards. This wasn't even included. Like, most of these books weren't even on the list that I'm sharing with you. Like Wings of Ebony wasn't on there. Skin of the Sea wasn't on there. Some of these books just were not included in the Goodreads Choice Awards, but it's okay. But yeah, this book definitely needs credit, and I love this book so much. It was definitely a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Like I said, I'm mostly sad that we're no longer going to be in this world, but I know Jordan Fueko is not going to leave us hanging, and she will have more things in store for us. But yeah, definitely one of the best books that I've read in 2021 for sure. Next book is a romance book, and Talia Hibbert had done her thing. I know some people don't like Talia Hibbert, but I wanted to continue on reading, you know, the final book of the Brown sisters, and that is Actor Age Eve Brown. This is the last and final sister that we read about this year, which came out I believe in January or February earlier this year, and I really enjoyed this so much. I loved Eve. I love how it shows like you're not always going to be perfect in a relationship. You can always do is try and just see what happens and see what goes from there. And I love this book. It was so cute. I loved all the Brown sisters. I just love them all. Like, I have all 3 books, and Talia Hibbert had done her thing, and I just cannot wait to see what she has in store, or if she has another series in mind that she'll be doing. I think she does, but I'm not sure what the title of the new series is, but I'm sure it's in the Goodreads or even on her own website about her new series that she'll be writing. But of course I gave this I believe a 5 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed this book, and I think my favorite Brown sister is Eve, because I feel like she did a lot more effed up things, and I feel like that's realistic in a relationship, because you F up and you learn from your mistakes and you move on and you try to do better than what you did last time and make it up for that person. So I really enjoyed Eve, and this book was just amazing. So love this so much. And then the next book, which is Symone Breaks All the Rules by Debbie Rigaud. This book was amazing. We're featuring Symone, who pretty much wants to live her best life her senior year and go out with a bang and go to prom with whoever she wants to go to prom with, and not have her prom date picked by her mother. So she breaks all the rules. She has a list of what she wants to do her senior year: skip school, you know, go on a date, go to a party. I just really enjoyed this book. Debbie Rigaud did an amazing job, and she has another book that'll be coming out next year, which is the cover right here, and it's stunning. So I know this next book is going to be fantastic, but this book was definitely something up my alley, something that I wish I did when I was a senior in high school, but you know, been there, done that. There's nothing I can do about it, but I do appreciate this book. It definitely was amazing, and it was well written, and I do love the family and the culture in this book as well. I loved it. So a 5 out of 5 stars for this one. And then last but not least, I read a lot of poetry, a lot of poems this year, and I don't regret anything about it, because these poems were spot on, fantastic. And this book that I really enjoyed, which was also was one of the books that was part of the Goodreads Choice Award, that is Black Girl Call Home, and this is by Jasmine Mans. This book was fantastic. I love this book so much. It talks about Black hair, it talks about Black culture, it talks about a girl being Black in America. Like, it was just spot on. Like, I loved it so much. It talks about our history as well as America, and this makes me think of, like, this book, like how it reminds me of how some of these books that tells about our history, which is American history, and how they're trying to pretty much erase history out of by banning books and not having it part of the curriculum in a school setting, when it should be taught, because it is a part of America's history, and it's one of America's biggest sins, and they just don't want to confess to their sins. They don't want to make it right. They just want to erase it entirely from libraries, from schools, everywhere. And I feel like as booktubers, you know, we are the ones that have to carry it on and educate people, or at least provide certain material that other people will want to, so they could learn, and so they, you know, acknowledge it, and not become ignorant of it. But even like this poem right here is about black sons in America as well, and I'll read it. So it says, Black Son, after Alicia Harris on Sean Bell. How do you tell a woman that raising a black son isn't some type of inside joke crafted by God and some white man? Can you prove to me they are not in heaven, snickering at the soul of a single parent mother, dressing her son for graduation, hoping he can make it across the stage, down the aisle, or off the balcony, quick enough to not get caught in his skin at the wrong time? I've touched the bellies of women who will look you in the eyes like a blue bird awakening to a Holocaust and whisper, I am just afraid to raise a black son. A black boy is just a trembling soul suffocating in a fabric that always seemed to make you itch around the neck, the tag that makes you scratch around your noose collar. How can you tell a mother holding her son in the delivery room, praying that his skin doesn't get any darker, hoping it'll stay as light and deceiving as a sunrise in the ghetto, that her son isn't some white man's pit stop, that her son's body isn't a chamber for some bigot to stir his sin and southern accent in, that her son isn't some colored toy for the rich blue-eyed boys? Can you tell her her son's penis isn't dark enough to be considered rape in the Confederate States? I am just afraid to raise a black son who will spend the rest of his life praying for a melody or a melanin safe enough to scream in, a son who has to be a martyr for a war he never asked for. And that is deep. I remember when I first found out that I was pregnant with my son, my oldest son, and I was scared. You know, I was really scared of raising a black son in America because I did not know what was going to happen. I do not know what the future holds for my son, and I always pray to God that he will be okay. He will make it. He will be okay. God's got his back. God's got us. And you know, I think about it all the time, and you know what, I'm not going to live my life in fear. I'm not going to do that at all. I refuse to live in fear for myself or for my children. And so that's why, like, I really love this book. And like, it gets down to the nitty gritty. I know a lot of people read this book, but if you haven't read this book, I really, really suggest that you read it because it's phenomenal. It's amazing. Even on the back, like on the description, it says, from acclaimed poet Jasmine Mans comes an unforgettable poetry collection about race, feminism, and queer identity. With echoes of Gwendolyn Brooks and Sonia Sanchez, Mans writes to call herself and us home. Each poem explores what it means to be a daughter of Newark, New Jersey, and America, and the painful, joyous path to adulthood as a young, queer Black woman. Black Girl Call Home is a love letter to the wandering Black girl and a vital companion to any woman on a journey to find truth, belonging, and healing. So like I said, if you haven't read this book, I suggest you do so, but this was definitely one of the best books that I've read, the best poetry books that I've read in 2021. But that is it. Those are all the books that were the best books for me that I've read in 2021. I kid you not, all these books are fantastic. They're amazing. I don't regret anything about these books. I don't have any negative remarks about these books. Like I know some people didn't like these books, and that's fine. No one's gonna like everything that I like. You know, that's life, and that's how things are. But like I said, I really enjoyed all these books. They have brought so many good things about, like, it makes me happy that all these books are being written, especially by Black authors. Black authors are coming up, and I definitely will continue on supporting Black authors, and I hope that you do so as well, especially when you pre-order their books. It definitely helps them out tremendously, so I hope that you are doing that. But yeah, these are all of the best books that I have read in 2021 by Black authors. But there you go. I'm sorry if I was a little preachy, but I just wanted to share my thoughts and just being real to you all. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I upload more videos in the future. But thank you so much for watching, you guys, and please stay healthy and stay safe. See ya.